Hey guys, Mumford and Cater coming to you again. How's everybody doing on their end? Hope everybody is well, as always. Welcome back to another comic review from me. This is the books that came out the first week of December, and going to talk about the books. Got a pretty light pull this week. Definitely wasn't a lot of books that I was covering, but of course, there are some number ones in here that I have to talk about. Um, One from Dynamite, one from DC, and one from Marvel. Those are the number ones. So, in the month of December, I will present the reviews the way, in terms of how I present the company. This month of December, I will go Marvel, Independent, and end it with DC this time around. So, let's get started. And if you see a little slideshow in the back, don't worry, that's just various pictures and images that I have on file that I like to show. So, yeah, don't worry about that. Okay, so let's get started. So we're gonna kick it off in Marvel. Yeah, we're gonna kick this off in Marvel, and we're gonna kick this off with all new X Factor number 17. Like I said, very much sad that this series is coming to an end. You know, it's funny now that Marvel seems to only want to keep X-Men and Avengers books alive, unless they're someone in unless no, because I can't say Spider-Man because Spider-Man is a part of the Avengers. But you know what I mean. Um, Peter David still does a fantastic job with this title. Last issue left off with kind of a cliffhanger because this still takes place during Axis. And in the last issue, we saw that the team comes face to face with two oppositions, Longshot and Sunfire. And they have come to retrieve the nuclear football that they stole from the president himself. It's a kind of a, it looks like a football, but it's actually a device that will allow the president to just shoot off missiles whenever he wants to. Unfortunately, they come, Sunfire, and Longshot come. Longshot looks a lot different. Sunfire looks a lot more like his Age of Apocalypse version. I'm trying to remember. That's probably because of what went down in Uncanny Avengers. I can't remember on the top of my head, but yeah. But anyway, um, it was good. Um, it's kind of funny because once again, Peter David, king of cliffhangers, leaves us on a cliffhanger, especially with what happens with Quicksilver. I'm not going to spoil what happens to Quicksilver, but it was really interesting. Um, Danger was really interesting in this as well, especially what happens to her thanks to Sunfire. Man, what he did to Danger. Jeez, I don't know what's gonna happen to her now. But very good, issue. Like I said, three more issues to go, and you know this series comes to an end. Gets canceled. Sucks. All right, so we're gonna talk about one of the first number ones that I wanted to talk about, and that's none other than Angela, Asgard's assassin, number one. Kieran Gillen works on this. Marjorie Bennett, Philip Jimenez, and Stephanie Hans actually works on this. There's the main story, and then there's a sub story into it. Um, this was very interesting. Um, it's basically showcasing, in a sense, is that Angela has come to a crossroads, in a sense, now that the word is out about who her father is, and we get a little bit more into the 10th dimension, and with the angels and them being Odin's mortal enemies and things like that. And we get a sense of seeing that Angela, she has no friends really on both ends. Though she was maybe raised in the 10th realm, she has no love for her blood family. She has no love for Thor. She has no love for Loki. She damn sure don't has no love for Odin. And she even quoted, it's even quoted here, if she saw Odin again, she's gonna try to kill him. But Angela does something in this that really kind of is like, ooh, like, you really going there, Angela? I'm not gonna spoil what it is, but it was really interesting. But I may have said she doesn't have any friends or allies. She does have somebody in this book that she does have an ally, and we get a little bit of backstory of how they met and things like that. But this was actually a really good start to a series, especially from a writer I'm not big really high on. I'm not really big high on Kieran Gillian. Wasn't high on his Iron Man. That's why I dropped Iron Man. Same thing about Young Avengers. I wasn't high on his Young Avengers. That's why I dropped that book. If I said it before and I'll say it again, if anybody should come back to write the Young Avengers, should be Alan Hingenberg. He should come back to write it. But this was good. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next issue because that ending was wow, especially what's Angela up against at the end. And it's like, ooh, you done did it now, Angela. Like, really? But very much enjoyed this. Angela, Asgard's assassin. Number one. Don't mind that. That's my phone. Guardians 3000. First of all, like I said, the Alex Ross covers are beautiful. I love these I love Alex Ross. Period, and the cover is just beautiful to me. Um, Abnett still does the writing. He still does a very good job with this. The last issue we saw, the original Guardians tried to set up a summon with the remaining surviving races in the galaxy, because you got to remember, in the year 3014, um, the Badoon have really wiped out nearly everybody. The Kree, the Skrulls, the Shi'ar, the Alpha Centaurians, you name it. Any alien race in the Marvel Universe you can think of, the Badoon have really wiped it out. And the Guardians tried to set up something. Unfortunately, they were found out, and they had to flee. Unfortunately, their ship was blown out of the sky by the Badoon, and it picks up right where that issue left off, with the characters uh, Gina Drake, who was a human, Charlie 27, and Yandu. We also get to see in this issue them survive, but we also get to see in this issue that, believe it or not, a descendant of Richard Rider. And she has the world mind, the helmet, and everything like that. We do get to see that. That's all I'm going to tell you. Um, but we get to see Gina, Charlie, and Yandu survive their crash, and Yandu's trying to tell them, keep positive that we may find the others. The others are alive, things like that. And they are getting chased by these robots who are similar looking to Iron Man. And they even quoted in this, and um, Charlie even says, like, we've met Iron Man, Anthony Stark, hell of a guy. We teamed up with him. Once again, paying respects to the fact that the original Guardians did go back in time to team up with the 21st century heroes. Um, Very good storytelling as always from Abinette. Um, Yandu just shines as always. You know, Yondu has always been my favorite of the original Guardians, and we also get a look at Star-Lord in this. Um, Basically, what if Peter Quill joined his birthright and became the king of his planet? We get to see him in this. Basically, that's him right there. That's his original costume. Um, just good stuff right here, very much. Iron Fist, Living Weapon, number. This is number 7. Like I said, I finally caught up on this. Kyles Andrews. Andrews does a good job increasing the world of the Iron Fist, of Iron Fist. Um, to me, it started with Brubaker and Fraction, and then from there they kept amping up the mythos. Now, once again, in this, Danny he's still recovering from the beating he took from the person known as the One. He has been, Kulun has been destroyed. The last, the Shu Lao, the Undying, the dragon where the power of the Iron Fist comes from, may not come back because well, there is an egg, but we don't know. It could not happen. Um, he is cut off from the power of the Iron Fist, so he can't. His chi has been depleted. He can't concentrate and focus to make the Iron Fist. So he now really has to rely on his just normal martial arts skills, his kung fu skills, and recovering as well, and try to get back to stopping the One and Davos, who is back in the real world. Also, the fact that we get to learn more about Danny growing up in Kulun as a kid and having a friend there who was a slave girl who was blind later on. She never had a name. Danny called her Sparrow. They trained together, and also explained that even though technology is forbidden in Kulun, unfortunately there is technology. It's way underneath in the bowels of Kulun, and we get to see that. The interesting thing as one is the fact that one of the people who kind of runs the technology creates something for Danny to use. It is also resigned in this issue that he even recites that Danny is the only Iron Fist. Get this, is the only Iron Fist to ever not use a weapon but his fists. All the other Iron Fists that came before him have used weapons and concentrated their chi in through those weapons. Orson Randall, who was the Iron Fist before him, had guns, used to channel his chi through the guns, things like that. But he makes something for Danny, and it's kind of resemblance of the Man with an Iron Fist. So once I saw that, I'm like, yeah, that this kind of reminds me. The only problem, like I said, I have with Andrews is the fact that I really wish somebody else was writing it because it looks a little too cartoony sometimes, and I'm just like, I really wish Danny didn't look like that, you know. But other than that, this was good. Um, can't complain too much. It wasn't perfect, but it's an interesting take, and I'm looking forward to seeing where Mr. Andrews goes with this added mythos to the Iron Fist. That's all the Marvel I got. Move on to DC. Excuse me, move on to Indie. All right, we got 4 indie books. 2 from Dynamite, 1 from Boom, and 1 from Image, which is kind of a late issue, but I finally got my hands on it. All right, so let's kick this off with the final part to Cloaks. Mr. Monroe and Navarro. I enjoyed this, sir. I very much enjoyed this. This was very interesting. Adam, the young man here who is a member of the secret agent of the group called the Cloaks, finally comes face to face with the blonde female that he's been chasing. She has a person hostage and things like that. A lot of things happen, and it's really a cat and mouse game between them two. in this entire issue. It starts to become this good dialogue, but then it becomes really a cat and mouse game. And we get to see that, and we also get to see that maybe a lot of other things that that Adam was told may not be true. Um, so it's very interesting indeed. But I thought, Mr. Monroe, you did a good job with this. This was just a fun, short miniseries. It ended kind of on like, that's it. There should be more. It didn't really have, in my opinion, closure. It just felt like it was the end of one series, so on to the next. That's just how I felt about it. But didn't disappoint me. Oh boy, let's here we go. Number one. We're gonna talk about this bad boy. Ladies and gentlemen. Bow, bow, Shaft. Shaft. Damn right. Yeah, number one. Um oh my god, this was so good. Mr. Walker. Excellent job. Excellent job. And Mr. Evely, beautiful artwork, sir. Oh my God, beautiful artwork. I was so impressed by the artwork. So basically, guys, in this issue, without spoiling too much for you, in this issue, in this first arc, I believe it's basically showing Shaft before he became the great private detective that we all know and our parents knew back in the 70s or so. Um, this is John Shaft, not John Shaft from Sam Jackson's one, because he was the nephew of the original. No, this is the original Shaft, the Shaft that Richard Roundtree played. In this issue, we get to see Shaft young, what he was doing when he was younger back in 1968. Now, I'm gonna let you guys on something right now. There are a lot of words in here that I will not really repeat. Um, you got to remember the time period that this takes place, but there are a lot of racial slurs in this on both sides. It's not just for the African Americans, but it's also for others. And there's one there. Is the N word using it? It's written out, but it doesn't fully say, but you can tell that's what it said. But we get to see Shaft in this 1968. He was a boxer, up and coming boxer. He's talking to us, the audience, and telling that he's been boxing. He's been a fighter all his life. It's just when he got into the military, he began to box, and we get to see a little bit of his time in Vietnam and things like that. And when he came back, and there's a fight promoter here who wants him to take a dive. Shaft ain't, he don't take no dive for nobody. He's he got a lot of pride, and he even sees one of his childhood heroes that works for this punk ass crime boss, and he's like, he's disappointed him. Good writing, good storytelling. Like I said, there are some words in there, you just got to get past it. But besides that, fantastic job. I very much enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to seeing what more to come with this series. I am so glad. Once again, Dynamite does not fail me in terms of they take those great TV pulp era icons that had a shine when they came out and re-energize them for the next gen. And that's what Dynamite and Mr. Walker and everyone else who worked on this title has done. Uh, Good stuff. Good start. Very good start. Jennifer Blood, Born Again. This is issue 5 of this miniseries. This ends it. Nice cover. Basically, Jennifer is chasing the woman who is impersonating her. and she sets up a plan so brilliant. I was like, wow, just to catch this woman. Um, and that's pretty much all I want to really talk about in terms of that. But she also tracks down the person who put a hit out on her, and man, it ends on a once again, it ends on a like. So, are we going to see another mini where Jennifer goes after the person responsible for putting this hit out on her? It kind of ends that way, and it's kind of sad. You're like, really? Like, come on. But I very much enjoyed this miniseries. Um, and the thing about it is, Jennifer decides to stay in LA. She doesn't run because her she's like on a clean slate now. Her all all her information has been in terms of who she is and people are looking for has been cleaned out. But she decided to stay in LA. But like I said, how she takes out her copycatter, very ingenious, and a good mini. All right, this book came out a while ago, but I finally got my hands on it. Scott Snyder, Jock, Wytches #2. Um, you talk about some weird shit in this. Man, Schneider continues to literally have you like, okay, what's going on? Last issue we left off, the girl known as Sailor, that's her name. She supposedly was kidnapped by something, and she comes back and she has like this bump on her neck, and it all kind of weird shit starts happening from there, and it gets so weird and so freaky that her parents are really starting to worry about her. And that's when the plot even thickens even more. Just when you think you may have figured out, then it thickens even more. It gets even more thicker. And then it gets even more thicker until the final panel, you're like, holy crap, like, what the fuck? And it's just like one twist after another. But it kept me interested in the title, kept me interested in the book. Um, Very good. Sorry about that, guys. Um, let's keep the reels going. All right. Um, DC time. Let's start this off with Aquaman and the Others. #8. Dan Jurgens still does a good job on this. This issue, the opposition that are trying to take out Aquaman and the others are known as Mayhem. And the members of Mayhem are Maelstrom, Stranglehold, Cheshire, KG Beast, Braze, Envic, NVK Demon, NKV Demon, and they really start to maybe think that some of the members on the team are a little bit of hotheads, and with the others, they're trying to figure out a little bit more about Vostok in terms of is he really a clone or is he the real deal, and that they kind of go a little bit in a different direction with that in terms of Vostok starts to don't want to talk to him. Prisoner of War is going through some real heavy shit, and that's big time in terms of he's not fully in control of the spirits. Well, I should say one spirit in general that died, and it gets heavy, very much between that, especially because of the fact that the spirit that is controlling Prisoner of War, he swear he swears that the operative, one of the the others killed him, and it gets crazy, and it ends. Oh man, it ends with a like, what? No way! All this time, but it was good. Detective Comics number 37. Francis Manipool, Brian Bucella does the artwork. Good stuff. The first part was really interesting because it dealt with the Mad Hatter, and we get to learn a little bit of interesting detail about the New 52 Mad Hatter, especially in terms of why he was doing this. He's basically into a point of like he's looking for his Alice, and Batman breaks some bad news to him about Alice. I'm not gonna spoil what that is. There is a death at Wayne Tower, and we get to see Bullock get involved and his partner, and then even Bruce gets involved. And it pretty much gets just really dire and significant from there in terms of the fact that it ends on a cliffhanger with a freaking bang, and yeah, good job. Earth 2 number 39, Marjorie Bennett, um, Barbara Gordon in the pits of Goma, Go, Gomorrah, Gomorrah. I think I'm saying it right. This was interesting because it's supposed to. I think it's supposed to take place sometime before the invasion started, and Dick and Barbara are married. They have a child together, and all hell just starts breaking loose, and it becomes a situation that survival of the fittest, not just for each other, but also for, I would say, the human race in a sense, in terms of also keeping one's sanity and keeping one humanity alive. So much that goes on in this that but it ends with pretty much, once again, that's the reason why I'm not really too fond of Earth 2 having two books. Um, and it ends with basically saying this story continues in Earth 2 World's End number 9, and I'm like, but I don't read that. So other than that, this was good, but I don't know. Dick Grayson, Grayson number 5, Seedly King. Um, this was a really one-sided, straightforward issue. Nothing really special. Only the fact that in this issue, Midnighter is around. Dick, Helena, and Midnighter crash in a desert, and not someone else. They deliver their passenger is pregnant. Her baby, she broke her water. Her baby's coming, and in an act of self-righteousness and for the love of her child, she tells them to save the child instead. So it now becomes Dick, Helena, and Midnighter walking across which desert they fell. I know it was they. Um, I would say they are either maybe in the Sahara Desert. I'm not sure, but Dick lasts about 10 days out there with this child, just trying to make sure the child stays alive. And you're like, go Dick, very good. Not a lot of action. It's more of the drama and dialogue carries the book. Besides one action scene where pretty much Midnighter is talking trash about Dick. And he's saying like, "I know you. I know how you think." Blah blah blah. And just give me the child and blah blah. And Dick turns around and just bam, just literally backhands him. Midnighter, we're talking about Midnighter. And but other than that, it ends on a happy note, but nothing real special. All right, Green Arrow number 37. Wow, this was good. Once again, I know, this is starting to feel a little bit too much like Arrow, but it's still good. Ollie still is trying to help Mia. Deirdre, pretty much the Dark Archer or Merlin comes, and he literally just finds that Green Arrow and Barry are one man. Um, we get a little bit more into New 52, Mia's backstory, and Ollie wants to help and things like that. And it just really, really just is like, wow, unbelievable, unbelievable. And it, I would say, it ends on kind of like, ooh, where are they going with this? Because another um, DC character enters the fray, and it's somebody that it was just like, oh, that's homage. Green Lantern number 37, Godhead Act 3, Part 1. Venditti does a good job with this. The writing is good. Uh, all the rest of the lanterns are being taken by Orion. We get to see that Sinestro has been carrying Parallax in him for a long time. And pretty much Hal's trump card in this at first is like a trump card to the new guides, but later on we get to see that he's changed in a sense. And um, Black Hands gets to see the source wall, and he realizes exactly what it is. And I'm gonna end it right there because it was just like, whoa, okay. And here's the other number one that I want to talk about. I put on my Twitter to the person and I said, "You never cease to amaze me. Thank you. This was great. The review will be up." Secret 6, number 1. Gail Simone, my lady, Ken Lashley's artwork. Man. Mm, mm, beautiful artwork. In this issue, we get to see the formation of the Six. Catman, the Ventriloquist, Black Alice, uh, Porcelain, and Big Shot. Am I missing somebody? And Strix, excuse me. Out of all of them so far, out of all the ones who shine the most in this issue was Catman. Catman, Thomas Blake Catman was great in this. Very entertaining. There were times where he had me laughing, but also I was just like, yeah, this is good stuff. When he finally wakes up being kidnapped, or however you want to put it, he wakes up right in front of the ventriloquist, and she's got her legs wide open. She's like, you know, I'm not wearing, and he's like, oh my god, like it was so hard for him to go look at her, and he's like, he's ready to throw up around her. I mean, she does look very decayed and bulimic and things like that. Strix is still Strix, where she has to write everything down and show it to you. Um, but Thomas, he wants to get out of the cells that he's in, but nobody's really budging to help get him out. And it ends with a interesting ending in terms of somebody's little friend. Other than that, this was good. Thank you, Miss Simone. Like I said, as always, look forward to seeing more Secret Six, or the new 52 Secret Six, but yeah, this is good, very good. Ooh. So there you have it, guys. All the books I picked up for the first week of December. I shall be back again with more reviews as always. Check out my bro, my friend, my mentor, Blue Goblin, and his other channel, BlugoblinX. He just put up more Midtown Comic Stash reviews. I tend to. Somebody asked me once, so when's the next Hit in the Classics coming? I have no real set date or time for those. When is the Indie Planet stashes coming? Really no set time and plan for those as well. But other than that, you guys take care. Let me hear what you thought. As always, leave your comments. Remember. And other than that, this is my brother Kid. Saying peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real. As always, the Omni Geek High Lord is out. Take care.